if you are just dropping by and you do not already know the drill, if you are just getting here, do let me know, and I will get started. Otherwise, I will get started in 4 minutes at the 5-minute mark. By default, whether there is someone here or not. That's just how it goes here. This is episode 10, so we have some big plans, and I'm just hoping that we can get some big crowds here. Just like last time before I unfortunately messed it up. Alright, once again, if you are just getting here, do let me know. Otherwise, I will be starting in 2.5 minutes at the 5-minute mark, whether there's anyone here or not. That is the way we do it here by default. So if no one is here at that time, I'll just get underway because we start off with a recap every week. Same thing usually. So let me know if you're here now. Otherwise, we'll be waiting until the 5-minute mark. Right, it's officially about 3 minutes and 50 seconds, so in about 1 minute, we're going to be getting this underway. So if you're just now getting here, or if you've been here, do let me know. Otherwise, we have 1 more minute and we're getting straight into the episode. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are far past the 5-minute mark. I don't know why I keep showing it beyond. We're actually 5.25 minutes in. So we're going to get underway here, and we have some pretty exciting, we have some, in my opinion, really exciting stuff to talk about today, because last episode, I gotta be honest, I wasn't really ready to do an episode. Like, I kind of threw it all together, and really, kind of what I'm doing today. But new information, new plans for my own that I'm very excited to be doing. So let's get underway here with the typical beginning, which is the weekend review. Monster Jam had 3 shows this past weekend, and sign-up series number 13 did happen as well. And we'll get back on sign-up series once we get into the upcoming plans section, but at the moment we are not there. So we have to take our way to the results, first of all, to take a look at the past 3 shows. 2 shows happened in Omaha, Nebraska, one November 26th and one November 27th. And then there was also a show in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, which was insane. We'll get more on that later as well, but the scoring was kind of off with that. So, let's get things kicked off with Omaha, since it was kind of what you would expect, an arena show in the US, but show 2 did get a little bit more exciting than that, and we'll get to that shortly. So it started Saturday afternoon, show 1. So there was actually no Saturday night show. It was just Saturday afternoon and then Sunday afternoon, which was interesting. So Saturday afternoon, we would see in the finals, wait, actually, I always forget to go over, the lineup first. The lineup was Kristen Anderson, Gravedigger, Elvis Linus, El Toro Loco, Brandon Telechko, Just Get Her Done, Second Generation, Michaela Telechko, Miss Get Her Done, Mark Hall, Raminator, and Kurt Kramer, Ammunition. So show 1, Saturday afternoon, we saw racing. It would be Mark Hall, Raminator winning, over Just Get Her Done, Second Generation's Brandon Telechko. So that's some points for, the Hall brothers. Skills comes around, and Elvis Linus, Rising Star, wins Skills, followed by Brandon Telechko, who this past postseason has really been getting some good improvement on those moonwalks. Donuts came around, and that would also end up going to Elvis Linus, who had some, I always skip past Donuts, because they're always kind of the same competition, so I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but Elvis won Donuts, and then followed by Kristen, and then Michaela, actually. And then we have Freestyle, which would be another event for Elvis Linus, and then it would be Brandon Telechko, Just Get Her Done, Second Generation. So your winner Saturday night would be Elvis Linus, El Toro Loco, ending with 22 points, followed by Brandon Telechko. And then we also, not to leave out, Sunday afternoon, racing finals would come around. Just Get Her Done, Second Generation's Brandon Telechko beats Gravedigger's iconic driver Kristen Anderson, so that was a pretty cool racing finals there. Skills Challenge came around, and another win for Brandon Telechko, and Just Get Her Done, Second Generation. He would win Skills, which followed by Kristen Anderson with an 8.996, who definitely should have won Skills, because she went for a wheelie popper, over-rotated. The truck was about to be shut off, so she gassed it, gets it, and throws the truck onto a bicycle. She gasses it while she's on the bicycle, doesn't touch any walls or even the pod in this whole save thing, and gets an incredible save, but she didn't do a moonwalk, and I guess by current day Monster Jam, not doing a moonwalk is an automatic loss. I mean, it's sad, but we see it all the time. More luck for Kristen would show up, though, as she would end up winning the donut competition, which would be followed by Mark Hall and Raminator, and Kurt Kramer and Ammunition, actually. They have the 2 kind of fastest trucks out there, high power, and that helps them get onto those donuts. And then Freestyle would come around, with the winner being Elvis Linus' El Toro Loco, and then followed by Kristen Anderson. And Kristen Anderson was able to place top 2 in every single competition, and it was enough to let Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger win with a total of 21 points, followed by Brandon Telechko, Just Get Her Done, Second Generation with 18, and actually Mark Hall and Raminator with 14. Elvis Linus was way down in 4th place with only 13 points. So that was everything we need to know for Omaha, Nebraska. Now we have note for Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. From what I know, their first show there, and it was not a disappointment. I mean, you could say, like, it's not a disappointment from an overall, like, international standpoint. From a U.S. standpoint, like, with a limited lineup and everything, this was probably one of the best shows that we saw. That's a very debatable statement because it really comes down to one freestyle specifically. So let's just go over here. There was one show Saturday night. Lineup was 8 trucks: Brandon Vincent, Gravedigger, Tristan England, Megalodon, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco, Barry Musauer and Zombie, Mark List, Max D, Miranda Kozad, Scooby-Doo, Charlie Pocket, Monster Mutt Rottweiler, and Tony Oaks and the Dragon. So that was the last minute change, I believe, from Cody Saucier, but the rest of this is still as it would have been before. So let's review here. Starting in racing, it was a pretty muddy, slick racing. It wasn't really muddy, but it was slick and kind of wet, so we saw a lot of spin-outs and stuff like that. So we saw some big names get defeated, and the finals wound up being Tristan England and World Finals racing champion Brandon Vincent. So not a huge surprise to see either of them there, but it was a pretty big surprise at the same time to not see Barry Musauer or Charlie Pocket there. So racing would be Tristan England taking on Brandon Vincent, but Tristan England and Megalodon would be able to get the win. So first competition goes to Tristan England. Skills would come around, and it would go to Gravedigger. To be honest, I don't really remember much about skills because it was basically just moonwalks and wheelies that you would typically expect. But Brandon Vincent, Gravedigger, no surprise, he's a great skills person, and he wins skills. And then followed by Armando Castro, El Toro Loco, and Miranda Kozad, Scooby-Doo, actually. So that's pretty cool. She has been improving on those moonwalks quite a bit. So winner of skills will be Brandon Vincent, his second top 2 win placement. And then freestyle would come around, and your winner would be Barry Musauer with a 9.720, which was a pretty unusual score considering he had a super basic run, but with a backflip. But we saw, I want to say, 3 other backflips that weren't his run. One of those being Armando Castro, so he's still working on his stadium presence, and landing backflips a great way to do that. He goes home with a 9.694. The reason I'm emphasizing the scores is because of Tristan England's run and Megalodon. If you have not seen Tristan England's run from Santo Domingo this past weekend, I don't care if you have to leave the stream to do it, go watch it, because that, I mean, they didn't do a backflip, whatever, because that has got to be top 20 freestyles of the year, I would imagine. We haven't seen a save like we saw in that run for several years. I mean, you could argue Covenard, Black Pearl, and I want to say Nashville was the same thing, but the thing with Tristan is, I want to say it was only front wheel drive, blew the engine, full course, actual classic save from Tristan England, but he didn't do a backflip, so he ends up only in 3rd place. This is really disappointing me. And from there, it was just placements. Despite Brandon Vincent placing 5th in freestyle, getting 1st and 2nd in other competition was enough to let him get the win with a total of 19 points out of a possible 24, followed by Armando Castro, 16, who was tied with Tristan England for 16, who debatably should have won, not even debatably, he should have won freestyle. Following that, we also have sign-up series 13 that happened this past weekend, and to be completely honest, I don't even remember who won. I don't know why. I just don't. So let me actually, I'm gonna check right now. Trying to give you some halftime music to beat the layover here. Winner was, oh yeah, how did I forget that? It was, yeah, Monster Jam Collector Racing, right? Time Flies, I want to say he signed up for Time Flies. Why did I just wipe this from my memory? I gotta double check this. Yes, it was Monster Jam Collector Racing. Champion of the 32 truck championship. He makes himself champion again by winning Sign Up Series 13 with a pretty fast, some of the most amazing passes we saw in the Sign Up Series 13. It would be Monster Jam Collector Racing in the Yellow Flamed Time Flies. There was some other information we learned this past weekend on Monster Jam specifically, so we're gonna have to talk about that. So, Driver Summit, huge letdown. This happened a while back. I talked about it in the last one. I messed up the last one. I had to delete it. That's why we're redoing episode 10. The Drivers Summit, it was no. They didn't make it, like, they didn't stream it anywhere or anything, because it was just a driver meet. Like, we weren't supposed to know what was happening there. And what we were told is that after this Drivers Summit, Monster Jam would tell us all the information that we needed to know. But instead of this, they said the rest of this stuff is only gonna be released in the podcast episodes. So they still haven't put anything new on their website or anything in the trucks and drivers section. But we did still learn some information through the last podcast episode that they did, which was Ryan Anderson and Bryce Kenny. So I'll go over what we know from that. So there are a couple things that we learned. We learned that Joe Foley is going to be competing for Team Scream and Monster Jam next year. That is very exciting. He was talking about it in some past videos that he wanted to make it to Monster Jam. That's kind of the big thing, his big goal. He was able to make it, which was great news in and of itself. But that wasn't completely, I don't think that was completely announced. Yeah, he would, from his own pictures with Team Scream, we know that. And Monster Jam made a birthday post for him specifically, so we kind of know it from that as well. Hang on, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about the quick pause. So, Monster Jam didn't directly say anywhere that Joe Foley was competing next year, specifically in like an episode or anything by words. But Team Scream did have some pictures with Joe Foley, with Monster Jam, and Monster Jam made a happy birthday post for Joe Foley, which just proves that he's going to be in Monster Jam. So, Joe Foley making his way to Monster Jam, very exciting news. We still don't have much update on Jamie Garner and Cole Vennard out of their respective trucks, but we've heard that it's probably not as likely to happen. We know Bryce Kenny is going to be competing on Stadium Tour Red. We don't know what this is going to be looking like. It could be Mohawk Warrior, which I'm expecting because it's a big sponsor, but there's also no saying that they're not going to put him in a Marvel truck, because I do also feel like that's equally likely. And then the last thing that we know that wasn't directly confirmed, but we know from small details, is that Hunter Souza is going to be competing on Arena Championship Series East with Travis Mowry, which was shown by Team Throttle Monster themselves, not Monster Jam. And he's going to be running a mysterious truck that we don't know. We just know he's competing with Travis Mowry. And if you still don't know to this point, Travis Mowry has his own paint scheme for Velociraptor. It's blue and green. Personally, I'd much rather go with the original, but Monster Jam switched it up. Or sorry, Throttle Monster switched it up, and I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. Alright, let's get back on note here. I think that's everything to go over for the past weekend. Now, it's time for plans. And I have some big ones, so let's get into the... Oh, we got someone here. Monster Jam Collector 2007. So welcome here. We just did all the weekend recap stuff on Monster Jam announcements, everything like that. So if you don't want to go back into this episode later, but it's nothing that is going to tie into what we're about to get into. So we're going to go forward here, and we're going to start going forward with the BeamNG schedule, and honestly, I don't even know at this point what it's looking like for BeamNG. I'm looking at a computer upgrade. Well, I already know I'm going to get it. I'm just trying to get the money for it at the moment. I'm trying to double my RAM, which is going to open BeamNG streams, all stuff like that. That's really exciting. The one thing about that note is BeamNG is, I've not really been doing it much. Like, I've been playing for fun every once in a while, but a lot of time it's just with random off-road vehicles and using them on Monster Jam tracks. I've recorded some stuff for the Christmas event, but I put a pause on that for a bit, and I probably will pick it up a bit later, but at the moment I'm in a pause with BeamNG, but schedule still as follows as it would before. Christmas event, New Year's event, 5 years of YouTube event. That's what we're looking at for the schedule. I might sneak some other stuff in there, shorts, whatnot. But at the moment, those are the major things planned. So BeamNG, not too much to talk about, but wow, my whole mic system just went red. I guess I was being really loud. We have to talk about upcoming plans because I have some of these. So, for those of you who only checked the video section, this past weekend, I posted about what is going on here. That is not normal. I made my first Monster Jam custom. It was a blast. Now, I have a ton of work to do to really get to a proper level, but for my first actual custom that I tried to do this way, I think it went pretty well. There were a couple of sloppy points on the shocks and stuff, but I mean, when you're looking at it from a distance like any other truck, you don't really see. So I spent about five or so hours on it, and so this is the main reason I'm going to be putting a pause on sign-up series, because every weekend I want to really just focus up on trying to make, you know, it might even only end up being 2 or 3 a weekend because of how long they take, but it's so much fun and they just look so much better than the original. So just go to a store, find an extra that I don't really need, so it's an extra that I'm making even better than the chase trucks. I mean, I'm really glad with how this turned out. It wasn't as difficult as I was planning it to be, which was great. I'm still a long ways from doing anything that involves body modification, though. I'm not really sure what to do with that still, and I'm waiting for Monster Jam to actually release a basic SUV and pickup body this year, because the only times they've been really hard to get, and all the customs I need to make need those kinds of bodies. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that exactly. But customs are probably going to take over the diecast realm for a while. So if I'm not doing as many sign-up series, that's probably the reason. I want to focus up on this whole custom idea, because it's really fun so far. At the moment, I'm trying to find out how to do a Hot Wheels body swap onto a Spin Master chassis, because that will several times multiply the possibilities I'll have for making customs. But from all the videos I've been able to find of custom making trucks that way, the truck can't actually be like screwed on or anything. The body just has to kind of mount onto the chassis without anything to secure it. And if it has to be that way, I mean, that it is what it is. But ideally, I won't have to worry about that. I'll just see if there's a way for me to maybe switch out the method or something. But if I can't do that, then they might just be shelf trucks, any of the Hot Wheels ones. But I know I am going to want to be running my Spin Master customs because they're pretty easy to make, and the body just comes right off and back on if I need a correct paint or anything. And I could always swap the body out for a new one if I mess up my body on my custom. So that's the main plan for upcoming times. Obviously going to continue the series. I haven't really made specific truck highlight videos in a while. That's just been from school stuff. The main reason there. Past that, it's really just monster truck shows live, which aren't anytime soon. January 7th, I'm seeing 2 Extreme. April 15th, I'm seeing Monster Jam. And the World Finals is still a pending idea. We don't know if that's happening or not, but it's something we're aiming for. Apart from that, my only other real plan that's too major for this channel is upgrading my PC. But I really want to focus up on making custom monster trucks. What I want to find out is to see if I can get more model paint, so I can also do this over the week and not just have it be a side job for the weekend. It would just be a little bit harder to find time for doing it that way, since the weekend is usually completely free for me. So that is what we are looking at for upcoming plans. Now it's more or less to get to this last segment that I have quite a lot to talk about. So let's go here. Boom. Alright. So I added a couple extra things for this segment. Some that still need to be worked on, some that don't. First thing is I was going to make a bit of a Q&A segment. It didn't really work out as well as I was hoping. But from the two things I got, or was it three? No, it was two, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. So I got two major questions here. The first one was Velocity Raptor 32, who is a Monster Jam Time Series champion. He said, who do you think is the best driver to never win a world championship? Two answers: of all time and of current drivers. I mean, the all-time one is just really hard to say. But if I had to say, it would definitely have to be Neil Elliott. It's just really close when you look at drivers like Lindsey Wink. But Neil Elliott, the main reason I'm going to put him over Lindsey Wink is because he definitely should have won 2017, so it just kind of rubs it in more that he didn't win a world championship. So I'm going to say Neil Elliott is my answer for that. And current drivers, there's a lot of really good drivers who are still pushing for it, and really it depends on the competition. But you have to look at how they perform overall in every competition that the World Finals holds, and really how consistent they are. And the single best answer for that, there are close answers. There's Corey Rummel, Bryce Kenny, really good answers, but I'm gonna have to say Camden Murphy. He's been invited to all 4 competitions, both the past 2 World Finals, if I'm thinking correctly. He's got close to winning a high jump. He's good at skills, but importantly, he's a very fast racer most of the time. And he has really good freestyle skills. The main thing is that he is played a little bit reserved on his runs, which he kind of picked up in the 2020 season. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Camden Murphy. He has his driving styles planned out. He'll go crazy when he needs to. It really depends how far out he gets put in the competition early or not. Cody Saucier would also be a good answer, but he got lowballed at the World Finals with his last score. And then we have, in your opinion, which diecast company did or does a better job of Monster Jam diecast? I'm going to say it right now. Hot Wheels Monster Trucks diecast are absolutely horrible. They're really bad. I mean, it's way more impressive than I could design. But I just don't get it. Why do they need to make the most far out bodies possible, like, for all of them? Yeah, I don't get the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks giant tires thing. You know, the weird bodies they make. I just don't really get it. So we'll kind of see how that ends up, but right now it's not looking too hopeful for Hot Wheels Monster Trucks. Looking at it from a Monster Jam perspective, it's easily a Spin Master. I mean, trucks are bigger, bulkier. The chase pieces, at least the next year's not looking that good, but their chase pieces up to this point have all been pretty good. But it really comes down to the effort they put into the chassis. The Hot Wheels chassis looked horrible. But with Spin Master, they do everything. Down to the sway bars, down to the suspension, the bolts for the forelinks, you know, down to the forelinks themselves, the drive shafts. Everything that Hot Wheels didn't do well, Spin Master has done perfectly. That's why I want to find out how to do Hot Wheels body conversions on a Spin Master chassis, because Spin Master chassis are and probably always will be the better choice for customs. Spin Master bigger, bulkier. The one thing Hot Wheels has on Spin Master is graphics. You can look at a Spin Master truck from, you know, a good 3 feet away and it looks fine. But any closer than that and the graphics are pretty grainy, which Hot Wheels never really had a problem with. I'm not too sure what the main cause of it is. It's not a huge deal if you're a shelf kind of person, or if you're just racing and they go really fast to where you don't really notice. But if you're ever like closely inspecting one or anything, the graphics do disappoint a little bit. But Spin Master's the easier choice. Detail, bulkiness, they hold together well. The tires have more effort. They're 3D. The suspension, all the little bolts they pay attention to. The engine is 3D, which Hot Wheels never did. Hot Wheels never gave any of the trucks headers for some reason. So it's just been a huge improvement, Spin Master over Hot Wheels. On that note, we have to get into the next portion, which is the truck wish list. Now, I did this last episode that I got rid of. So I'm just going to go over what we put on the list right now. The list composed of Get Her Done Second Generation, Get Her Done Original, Miss Get Her Done, Stabilizer, Axe, Brutus, Spike, Mega... Whoa, why did my voice do that when I said Spike? Spike, Megabyte, Fast Metal, Blown Money, Wasted Nights, Bad Company World Finals 21, Red Jester, or the Blue Jester, although it would still be cool to see a purple or orange one. The World Finals 21 Kraken, the 20th Anniversary Max D, a new Saigon Shaker, but in Diecast it would just be called Shaker. Potential Marvel trucks, which I put as Thor, Hulk or She-Hulk, Spider-Man, and others. And then rather unlikely, we might see Recreation. Jay's ideas I had put as ultra-realistic, but I'm pretty sure it's been revealed that it's going to be like a kind of fast foody idea. I don't know why they never made a Wildflower. There's a lot of trucks that they didn't make that Spin Masters come up to the plate for. So reviewing this wish list, there are a few notes I want to make. Wasted Nights is a probably not. For the main reason that Brandon Budd didn't even want to make the truck. The only reason Wasted Nights exists is because Monster Jam made him find up something that wasn't Buckshot. So I don't really see Wasted Nights being made. Fast Metal and Blow Money are potential because Bad Company was made this year, but if they were going to make either of them, it would probably end up being Fast Metal. Of the Team's Dream Trucks I put, Axe is the least likely because they might tie it into weaponry somehow. For the Get Her Done team, it's really a toss-up whether they want to go with Monster Jam since they are on tour this year, or if they'll move over to Monster Machines with that idea. But Lucas Stabilizer is a definite, for me definitely. And Marvel trucks. But I can't say too confidently about the rest of these. Maxi 20th is pretty likely, because they are making a Gravedigger 40th in regular release this year anyway. On that note, I think we are... Oh, Fast Metal is a sponsor. You're right, I didn't think about that. So, Blown Money is a possibility, but I guess Fast Metal isn't all that likely. On that note, we are on to the final portion, which is just talk about random stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't say he, like, hates Wasted Nights. The main reason I was saying that about Wasted Nights is he wasn't gonna make it a truck, really, or he wasn't gonna run it. He was kind of made to run a different truck by Monster Jam, and that's the truck he chose to run because it was a meaningful truck to him, but by choice, I think he would still be running Buckshot on Monster Jam. They just don't want him to. So at that point, I think Blown Money is a possibility. But the only Bad Company thing that's really that likely for next year would be the World Finals 21 Bad Company. And even then, I don't really see much chance of that happening. Back to the note with the whole Hot Wheels Wildflower thing. There were a lot of trucks Hot Wheels just skipped over for some reason. That just ended out being made by Spin Master, and there wasn't really a reason Hot Wheels would make them. It's not like it didn't pass their guidelines or anything. It's not like Wildflower was related to weapons or anything. They just didn't make it. They could have reused Time Flies easily, but they didn't. I'm not too sure what that's all about. At this point, this is just kind of a questions, like ask questions, stuff like that. So any questions you have, things you want my opinion on, stuff like that, that's the stuff I'll be putting on for this section. Otherwise, somehow episode 10's already over. It's been a great celebration. We talked about a lot of stuff that I wouldn't usually get to, but at this note, it's time for the ending wrap-up discussion section time thing. So this is one of the open for statements. In the meantime, I'll just be hanging out. '10th anniversary Max D, or, well, the 20th anniversary Max D is not bad. It's just there's too much happening. It's very unusual. It's unusually realistic. Usually monster trucks have more cartoony bodies and stuff like that, but the 2013 one was really, really, really cool. Particularly the one with like yellow and like gold and orange and yellow highlights. That was a really cool one. I think there were some light up features to it. I don't think it had like partial spikes, but not a lot of them, and it was just really cool. So don't get me wrong, I do like the Max D 20th anniversary body. It's just very chaotic and oddly realistic for a monster truck, and I feel like they're gonna have a big time struggling to make that look good as a diecast. Not that they won't be able to do it, it's just graphics that realistic on such grainy diecast, I think it might not end the best. Note for the symbolizing Goldberg, that's a long gone sponsorship and stuff like that. That's why we don't see one from Spin Master or anything. It would be cool, but I don't know. Even just copying part of the truck, it wouldn't also make sense to a lot of newer fans who aren't that into the original Monster Jam stuff. So that's kind of the reason for that. But otherwise, I would agree that it would be cool to see a Goldberg reference. I'm not too familiar with the Goldberg rims for Monster Jam either. I could check on that. Like the bronzish ones, those honestly, I'm not a huge fan of those rims. I actually don't have a Goldberg in my collection. From what I know, it's one of the hardest trucks to actually get your hands on. See, the 2018 one was really good, so I'm kind of hopeful for the Maxi 20th Anniversary Encore. But at the same time, considering that, the Encore was very fall flat for Gravedigger. And Gravedigger is the #1 name in Monster Jam. So, seeing it as that, I can't imagine Max D would be better than what we saw from Gravedigger. Obviously, they could still be cool. Maybe they will go back to try the double backflip, which is still yet to be done perfectly. Or, I just don't think that they're going to have that classic 5 trucks at the same time flipping over the other ones kind of thing. Maybe they'll go back to double backflips, reverse backflips, something cool like that. But they just added so many regulations at this point that the Encores are boring to an extent. I mean, the Gravedigger one was cool, but that didn't scream Gravedigger at all. Even to the point that they made the drivers get out of their trucks. That just goes to show that's on a big downfall from where it was just a couple years back in 2018. Even the Fire and Ice Encore was a lot cooler than that, and that was just a bunch of trucks doing backflips at the same time. And they did the World Finals 20 Encore way better. That truck jump, they did that way better than the Gravedigger truck jump, debatably. I was just, the whole Encore, I was like, alright, one of the drivers going back in their trucks and actually doing something. They just didn't. So, we might see something cool for the Max D Anniversary Encore, but I'm not 100% sure on it. And a further note is that right now it's only looking like there's going to be 2 Max Ds running next year. Which also depends on if there's going to be one in arenas, which would then make it 3. I don't think I'm going to see Max D in Glendale next year, unfortunately. So, that's something I missed in the weekend recap. Is Monster Jam said the driver summit had 56 drivers, so they're probably running a 8-truck international specific tour. So, here's the thing with the All-Star Challenge. It was a really cool event. There are 2 particular things I want to touch on. The first thing is the fact that it was the last event they did in Sandboy Stadium, and I feel like if they were going to do one last event there, they were going to make it big and bigger than any other event they've done at that time. Which worked out, but that's part of it, is I think it was as a bit of a farewell to Sandboy. But bouncing back with the whole idea of All-Star Challenge not happening, bringing back, 1, it's super costly to make all the new bodies and trucks that could just be ran as the originals. And 2, when you watch back the All-Star Challenge from 2019, the crowd was like a third or 2 empty. There was not a lot of people there for what the event was and how much it costed, and the fact that it was by far the biggest and longest event of the year. So I think it just was a bad economic choice. That it was cool, but I think since it was new, fans didn't know what to expect, and they didn't treat it like a World Finals like Monster Jam would have wanted them to. That's why I think that the All-Star Challenge has been paused on. On the Indies and Feld thing, Feld does not like to talk about Indies because they want all the attention to be on themselves, and by mentioning the fact that there are Indies, people will try to find Indie shows based on logic. I mean, Scott Jordan started talking about Bigfoot and Monster Jam Weekly Updates podcast, and I mean, Scott Douglas did get a little bit upset about that because he thought that Scott Jordan would get fired, but Scott Jordan was talking about the important stuff that Feld just doesn't talk about that they need to. So that's why I think the All-Star Challenge is kind of done for now. Oh, you know what? You know what? For the Max D 20th anniversary, I'm going to say that they're probably going to go back and take a second shot on the reverse forward momentum backflip that they tried at World Finals 21. I think that's what we're going to be seeing for that. The Max D anniversary body thing, I can't really agree with that. I mean, bodies, sure, but based on schemes, I like, you know, a lot of the older Gravedigger ones more. The newer Max D, I like it, but there's just too much going on one truck. So the anniversary bodies are cool for both of them. Naxi gets cooler bodies because they actually get new body styles. Gravedigger got a lot of the best schemes that we've seen. So that's my answer to that question. This is getting to be a pretty good episode. We got a lot of questions rolling in. Got a lot of important information. So it's been a good episode so far, and I'll see how much longer this will go for. Hopefully we got some more time rolling. Spin Master WWE shirts. Spin Master's not even responsible for... Oh, series. Never mind. I see. That says shirts. I never really cared for WWE, but if they were going to do that, they better make a John Cena truck. But as of right now, that's a Hot Wheels Monster Truck sponsorship, so that's not happening, I don't think. Monster Jam made an adventure shirt. Yes, they had to get licensing for that, though. And part of the reason I did that is because it's kind of saying Avengers, our truck, runs in our league. No other tour needs to be worried about because Avenger runs for us specifically. Even though Avenger does run in other tours, Monster Jam making a shirt for Avenger is kind of saying Avenger is part of Monster Jam. You don't have to worry about these other shows to see Avenger. That's kind of something I think about there. With the Avenger shirt thing. Yeah, he did get one in Hot Wheels Monster Trucks. I just don't really like the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks line too much. Oh. Bulldozer Ultra Loco, I mean, I really like the detail they put in the Bulldozer. Like, they did a lot of shading and stuff with it. But the colors that Ultra Loco has, Bulldozer never got close to. Yeah, I really do think the idea of backwards Bob would be cool. But I did just last night listen to the Barry Musauer episode, and he was saying, like, it's very hard to see out of that truck when compared to a normal truck, and the truck did get into a lot of pretty unusual crashes accidentally. So that's kind of the reason I don't think backwards Bob is going to be prioritized going forward. But I could see some new diecast lines that they hopefully make with it. We got Velocity Raptor 32 here as well. So that's pretty good. Avenger I've only seen twice, I want to say. This past show in February and in 2017, I think, are the only times I've seen Jim Kohler. I've never seen him independently. Monster Jam diecast line of Spin Master ends? Well, it really depends if Mattel is looking to bounce back or not. Because the thing is, right, You can't just say Matchbox because that's also Mattel. So Matchbox or Hot Wheels would kind of fall under the same line of whether those would happen. I think it would be pretty funny, and I would actually really like it if Monster Machines ended up pairing with Monster Jam. I feel like that would actually be really funny, since they're direct rivals at the moment in the monster truck world. Forwards Bob? I mean, we have that in BeamNG, we have Forwards Fred. We can make, like, backwards from being backwards Bob, so he's not backwards, he's backwards from being backwards. Not backwards, but backwards from backwards, basically. If that makes any sense. I'm not too sure about Team Scream and Tacoma. I don't really think that Team Scream goes there, ever. And if they have, it hasn't been any time recently. I've still yet to go to the World Finals, but it's a goal for next year. We're still seeing how that will go. Backwards Bob when he did a backflip with the backward effect. I've actually never seen that. I kind of want to now, though. I need to find that clip. Where's that clip from? Because I actually really want to see it. Otherwise, I'll just have to go on a bit of an experimental run. You're going next year, alright. Yeah, I've never been to Tennessee before. I've never been really anywhere east. Eastest I've been is Illinois. Wait. No. I was only 4 when Zombie debuted. By the time I really knew anything about I've been into monster trucks and like toys and stuff since I was 2. But by the time I actually started getting into like drivers and stuff, that was just like 2017. So I didn't really know what Zombie was. As far as I was concerned, it was a cool looking diecast. The El Diablo thing is probably just about regional stuff, and like it's a debatable topic. That's all I can really think of on that note. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure about that one. Although the El Diablo body was really cool. And I'm not really sure why Monster Jam kind of just forgot about El Diablo. Because, huge flashback. I don't know if any of you remember this game. But Monster Jam had a game that was iPad exclusive. And it was so fun. I have to find this. I don't remember what it was called. What was this game called? It wasn't called Monster. It was Monster Jam something. And I'm trying to remember what it was. Monster Jam As Big As It Gets. That's what it was. Monster Jam As Big As It Gets. I used to play that game all the time. That was the game. And it's not supported anymore. Because that's a lot of old trucks that Monster Jam is not involved with. That's the only time I've actually seen Monster Jam acknowledge El Diablo, to be completely honest. Apart from that, they've kind of just ignored it completely. Wait, what is this? Oh. The old zombie design? Like the one without arms? I've seen it. That's what Hot Wheels always did with their diecast too. It was kind of lame. Zombie Hunter, yes! Zombie Hunter would be a very cool one for Spin Master toy. I'm just worried that they're gonna go as far as to say that Hunter is too much of a violent word to use in their diecast line. What? Monster Jam as big as it gets? I mean, retrospectively it was bad, but that was the game. That was my game back in the day. That was like the best thing ever. And I remember I was so disappointed when it stopped working. Wait, they changed it to be called Monster Jam Battlegrounds on console? I never knew that. As far as I care, Monster Jam as big as it gets was a mobile game, and it was the mobile game. It was the Monster Jam mobile game, and they haven't done one since. And I'm upset because I'm not upset that the game isn't around because I like playing it. I'm upset because it was my childhood game. It was the game. I had all the trucks, all the upgrades. It was so great. Yeah, Spin Master puts a lot of careful details into the bodies. But they're also very careful on what trucks and wording they actually use with their bodies. Yeah, I know. I still have Monster Truck Destruction, and I'm waiting for the second one to come out still. And I always like playing it, and I have all the stuff for it now. The only thing with Monster Truck Destruction compared to Monster Jam as big as it gets is because, I mean, I was, what, 6, 7 when Monster Jam as big as it gets was a thing. As far as I was concerned, there was Max D. Max D was my favorite truck for a long time. So, I'm not kidding. I was, what, 7 or 8 when World Finals 18 happened. And when Leo Donnell beat Neil Elliott, I was watching it on TV after Monster Jam put it public. This is hilarious looking back on it, I actually threw a temper tantrum because Neil Elliott lost to Leo Donnell in World Finals 18. I remember kicking stuff across the house. I was so mad because Max D was my favorite truck. And I didn't care that he had a better run than Mad Scientist. I just cared that it wasn't Max D that was winning. At the time, I didn't even know a lot about them. I was just that mad that Max D lost to VP Racing Fuel's Mad Scientist. That's all that was in my head was the truck names. I didn't know much about drivers at the time. So all I cared about was Max D lost. This is the worst Monster Jam show I've ever watched. Rage, nothing happened to Rage. It's just that Corey runs Megalodon in the Monster Jam circuits, because it's better economic choice. He did, and I mean, I'll be the first to say. Well, I'm not the first to say, but I will back the saying that Leo Donnell's front flip was cooler than the reverse backflip. But what's his name? I forgot what the old announcer's name was. It was Ryan something, I think. Let me remember. Ryan Lacoste, that's who it was. I remember Ryan Lacoste, specifically before Leo Donnell went to do the backflip. He specifically said, this run has been pretty toned down, but he's going for a backflip. This might get the scores up a little bit. They were talking about, in the last 10 seconds, how bad the run was going. Neil Elliott gave a full force Max D run with a reverse backflip, which is still a front flip, first time it was done. Proper Max D run, crazy save, blew an inch and everything, and all that for him to lose. And so, as you might imagine, little kid me did not take that very well. But yeah, nothing happened to Rage. It's still a truck, and it's run all the time. Oh, if Monster Jam makes a Stranger Things truck, I'm buying every last one I can find. I don't even care. Obviously, they're not going to. Like, it would be very interesting to see a crossover between Netflix and monster trucks. It's not happening, but it would be really cool. Yeah, I would too. I would too. That's a really cool truck. See, the Punisher thing is different because that's when they were still in sponsorship with Marvel. That was more specifically because of Marvel. Netflix was incorporated into it, but that wasn't because it was like a Netflix sponsor. It's because it was a Marvel sponsor, and they just happened to get the Netflix with that as well. Monster Truck Destruction Monster Jam collab will be really cool. But Monster Jam's not getting much profit from that since it's not their original game. So Feld would make it an automatic no-go. We know Feld well enough that they would not let that happen. If they're not making all the profit possible, they're not doing it. Yeah, I agree with that last note there. And I think that's the same reason Jimmy ended up leaving Monster Jam. He was just really pushing for that world championship, and once he got it, he was out the door with Monster Jam and off to make his own tour, which is a great reason because, that's a great choice because, he's making all the money from the shows. He's doing more affordable things with his truck. I don't know too much about how Monster Truck World works, but I would assume that they're getting their own sponsors now, which brings in even more money. And they had a very successful tour. So, I think Jimmy Green just wanted to get that world championship. And once he'd done that, he was off to do whatever was the best, money-wise. That's how I look at that world championship side. Yeah, I would definitely say Barry deserved it, especially with the further description. Raising King Monster Trucks, it's a possibility, but really they are prioritizing the All-Star Monster Truck Tour at this moment. So I don't think that'll be happening, and if it does, because it's not impossible, then I could see it happening. The one note on that, actually, though, that I want to say is we did still see a Raising Cane release this year, and the Raising Cane team announced that they're making a new Ice Cream Man body that we might end up seeing released by Spin Master 2, and if that does end up happening, we know Spin Master and the Raising Cane team are still involved with each other. If that doesn't happen, it's still a toss-up if it's just Diecast rights or if they're properly still involved. Monster Truck Throwdown. See, Monster Truck Destruction has all the trucks that are in Monster Truck Throwdown, and in Monster Truck, Toughest Monster Truck Tour, and the Monster Truck Destruction Tour itself. So at that point, it would really just be the maps that would be much different there specifically. Yeah, Buddy Tompkins and the whole All-Star fleet is kind of underrated. Like, everyone's like, these drivers are really bad, that's why they're not in Monster Jam. They made plenty of Monster Jam appearances, and frankly, I mean, they have been to the World Finals several times, like, for different people. I'm just really hoping that one day Corey Schneider runs Monster Jam full-time, or at least for a full season, because that would be really cool. He's just not really ran a Monster Jam much at all. But if that happened, that would be pretty cool. Well, we are over an hour. We haven't done a stream this long in a while, actually. Most of them have averaged like half an hour recently. Yeah, this is more than double the time of the last one we went and did, so that's pretty good. I'm not sure whether Michael Pagliarulo is going to be a stadium tour or arena tour next year. The main reason I would say it's possible that he'll run stadium tour is we saw that same thing done with Team Scream, where 2 new drivers to Monster Jam were still put on a stadium tour to be with the rest of Team Scream, so I could see that being the case there. Yeah, I think Wasted Nights would definitely, Brandon Budd has the World Finals potential. He just doesn't prioritize, doing Monster Jam seasons because there are other seasons that are more affordable and easier for him to win, independently, that Monster Jam seasons aren't really the best option. But I would say if he did ever get on a stadium tour, I could definitely see him place on the top half of the bracket. Actually, I'm gonna put this note in chat as well. I'm gonna put this note because I asked about it somewhere else, but oh yeah, I saw that video. It was the Haunted by the Army video, and it was in the background. I just screenshot it. It was the old Wasted Nights though, not the Hummer one. It's really hard to say. I don't stream BeamNG Drive at the moment because it's because of issues with processing. But soon I'm gonna be getting a computer upgrade, so that I can run it on stream pretty smooth. I'm looking over the Feld drivers now, and there's no bad Feld driver. But if I had to say one, I think it's probably Brittany Marcotte. She hasn't really had much experience. And it's all kind of been pretty minor stuff that she's done. So, I'm just gonna say that my least favorite, Feld driver, not for any offense intended, is probably Brittany Marcotte, which really comes down to driving experience. No, Jamie Garner is not part of Feld. He still owns Team Overboard. It's only a possibility that he's running El Toro Loco. And even if he does, he's still not joining Feld. It's the same thing with Corey Rummel. Corey Rummel's not part of Feld, but he still runs Megalodon. It's that same idea there. That might be happening with Jamie Garner, but even then, it's not as likely. See, Bernard, that's a hard thing to say. Like, just saying that Bernard is a bad... You can't just say that, because he has had such incredible runs and stuff like that. He is probably in my bottom 3 list of the current Feld drivers. Again, no offense intended. He hasn't ran that long at all. But saying that Bernard Light is in the bottom, I just can't say that. Wait, what? I just looked up Bernard Light to try to find good runs from him, and then I got that he's in Black Panther 2. I feel like I should have known that, but I don't. I also don't know if it's true. I have no idea if that's true, but if it is, how about this? This sounds like it's a good representation for Bernard Light. Oh yeah. No! Nuh-uh. There is no way to convince me that Shane Freed is a bad driver. I mean, it's not that he's a super good driver, but if you saw what, actually he wasn't, I think he was at that show, but if you saw what he'd done in stadiums, it was pretty cool. If not Brittany Marcotte is my answer here, I gotta be completely honest, my answer is gonna have to be Kurt Kramer. The only thing Kurt Kramer's really too involved with is racing. Apart from that, and it goes for both the Hall drivers, don't really, they don't really do too much, else other than donuts and racing are their only strong suits. More specifically, racing though. Yeah, World Finals 21 Finals was, there's no way to, people say it's a bad race. It was one of the greatest races, if not, no, it's not what, it's the greatest race I've seen in Monster Jam. I mean, lightning cracking the sky, like right as they jumped the line, you could just see lightning go straight bolt through the sky, pouring rain. Truck goes flying through the air. Ryan Anderson, after he spins out, truck starts going flying in circles. Brandon Vincent breaks down to first gear, almost doesn't finish himself, and then everyone gets put on tornado watch and starts evacuating. And then Brandon Vincent just gets out and stands on top of his truck. He's an icon. I mean, he might not be anything of a veteran, but he is an absolute icon in Monster Jam. He does that. He did it after his truck started on fire. You know, he did it during Tornado Watch. He'll do it on the regular. He just really puts himself together well. Yeah, I find it, wait. I don't really see too much. I haven't really seen too many of the World Finals racings, to be honest, but the World Finals 2003 one wasn't really bad. It was just chaotic to me. World Finals 4, I haven't seen it, though. Oh, on the Bigfoot note, I actually watched a whole video about that recently. To simplify, it's basically Monster Jam was taking all its steps to, Feld was taking all its steps to be the head, right? And Dennis Anderson could already tell they were buying out Gravedigger, and then they did buy out Gravedigger, and Bigfoot wanted to be an indie team no matter what, and Bigfoot stuck with that. They would not want Feld to buy them out, and they just left Feld right away for that reason. And then we also see Bigfoot's known for having a clean style where they win without needing to crash or do something crazy. Monster Jam's the direct opposite of that, and World Finals 2002 really just showed that more. And that's a big reason Bigfoot's not involved either, and that's one of the more debatable moments that I don't really see. But yeah, I did just watch a whole video on why Bigfoot doesn't run a Monster Jam. If you want to know more on that, just look it up, because it's a really good story that I actually really enjoyed hearing about. Because Brandon Vincent wants to be in stadiums. I mean, that's the thing. Once you make your name in arenas, that's your chance to get on stadiums. And I'm really mad that they put him on Arena Series for next year. Because, I see no reason, given Brandon Vincent, that he's not going to be Gravedigger on the international tour. Given that he's not, I'm thinking Randy Brown's going to drive Gravedigger on the presumed international tour. Otherwise, I'm not sure we'll be driving Gravedigger there if anyone does. Oh yeah, he did pretty good in Glendale last year. I really liked it. But that doesn't start to compete with what he did in international shows this year. His international presence this year has been incredible. Tacoma, he did really good, and you should know that. He did really good in Tacoma. He has everything a stadium driver can. I kind of feel the same with him and Tristan. They could at least give them a chance to be on stadiums tours, but they don't. I don't know why. Brothers are out. The Diesel Brothers was a temporary sponsorship that might come back, but it's not really the most likely thing to come back. Especially since we recently did see Diesel Dave running for Team Throttle Monster. So we might see him coming back to driving, but not the truck specifically. That's currently pending. Yeah, I know, it's really disappointing that Brandon Vincent got taken off of Arena West, because I never got to see him before. And now he's just leaving. I did see him in Glendale last year, but I never got to see him in his prime arena place. So, it's a little bit upsetting. Oh, wait. Is that note for, specifically driving? Wait, what is this note on here? Is it saying that he didn't like driving? He didn't like the way they were ran? Or he himself was a bad face for Monster Jam? What's the thing here with Heavy D? Because I actually really want to know. No, Kermit's stadium debut wasn't in Stabilizer, actually. Kermit's been running, I know Kermit ran last year. I think it started last year that they started putting Kermit in trucks. If I'm thinking correctly, I don't think they did in 2020. I don't think they ever did that. Yeah, and you get to see Kristen next year. So it should be interesting to see her on a Tacoma floor, since that's something new. I think that's the first time that's happened. I think the international tour is only going to have 8 drivers, based on math. There's 56 drivers announced for next year. Oh. See, I did see him in the pit party before, and I didn't really think about it. But I would say that he always kind of had this face that, like, he was the best person. He didn't really look... Yeah. That did kind of seem like a him thing to do, and it kind of is reflected in their videos and stuff. They don't really care much about other people, they just care about their own work, unfortunately. But yeah, the international tour thing is pretty intriguing, because how are they going to find 8 drivers that aren't going to be on stadiums? That's the interesting part. We have to look at 2 things: indies that are not listed for Monster Jam, or Monster Jam drivers. Like Randy Brown, Mark List, they're both definitely going to be on the international tour. If they're not, I will be shocked. I will say it right now, and a little bit sadly, I can't doubt that Todd LeDuc's going to be on an international tour. And I would love to see him in the US, but I can't confidently say that has happened. Oh yeah, the reason Kamikaze hasn't raced a Monster Jam is because of the name. It goes back to the violence thing. Eight drivers, all I can really think of are like... Oh, Cole Stevens is a good note. Yeah, Cole Stevens, Mark List, Randy Brown, Todd Luke is a possibility. I wouldn't doubt Todd LeDuc there. So we'll see how that directly works. Peter Nyman. Can't forget about Peter Nyman. Yeah, you brought it up too. I mean, that's true, but Mark List has been mostly international shows, and he's kind of known for doing shows in, like, Puerto Rico, you know, mid-American area. So, I really think he's going to be on the international tour, if I had to be completely honest. I could be wrong, but I just really see Mark List on an international tour past the U.S. tour, where we still have a lot of drivers who are overlooked for the U.S. Because there's not a lot of room left on U.S. tours. And having Mark List internationally couldn't change that up. So that would leave more openings if that happened. Mark McDonald said in Crush This that he's moved on from Monster Jam. He's done with Monster Jam. Lindsey Wink. Here's the thing with Lindsey Wink. He disappeared. Lindsey Wink ran at the end of 2020 in Arlington because he was going to run in the 2021 season. And then after he ran at that show, he just disappeared. So I can't really say I don't think he's going to come back ever. Because I do think he might. He just ran in the early 2000s, and a lot of drivers we saw from then have retired by now. Some other examples being like Cam McQueen and those drivers. Yeah, Mark McDonald still drives. I think he's just done with Feld and Monster Jam specifically. But yeah, he's still driving. I think Mark McDonald is still driving, for sure. Just not Monster Jam. I haven't heard any notes with Charlie Pocken. I haven't heard him say anything, but I don't think he's gonna retire. I don't, to be honest. I think he's gonna keep running next year in a Marvel truck. I'm not too sure though. We'll have to see how that works. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't even know much about Guy Wood, so, like, he kind of was just there and then he wasn't. I've seen probably, like, 2 things from him before, and that's it. Oh, I made a whole playlist for that, but that playlist is kind of dated. Yeah, I was literally just singing. Yeah, I was literally just singing, but I guess I was singing too loud because people heard my singing. I can really sum that sum that whole question up, in one question here. Now I'm gonna do that right here. This is now your life. Die buried alive. Yeah, I was gonna see John Zimmer in Glendale, and then they changed it back to Jamie Garner. I'm so upset about that. I really wanted to see him run one last time. But, I mean, he has taken more steps to go over and crew for John Zimmer Jr. now. Yes! Good choices, good choices. Could agree with those, definitely. See, that's what this section is for. Like, it's not it doesn't have to be all Monster Jam stuff. I mean, it's my channel. We could talk about anything. I could care less about if it's music or not. This is now your life. Die buried alive. This is now your life. Die buried alive. This is now your life. Oh, that's pretty lucky. I mean, it's obviously not the Prime anymore, but that's still a pretty lucky concert to see. I've still yet to be to any metal one. I would love to, but I haven't been to one. This is now your life. Die buried alive. This is now your life. See, I don't really know much of anything of country. No, I actually have not heard the new song. I would like to, but I haven't. My friend was just talking about it today, though. Oh! It's, Crush It. Monster Jam Crush It. Changed my mind that Monster Jam Crush It is not just the worst Monster Truck game, the worst game, period, of the entire world. Monster Jam Crush It. There is no way to convince me that that is not horrible. It is absolutely terrible. I mean, I will say that blatantly. It is not good at all. And I mean, they fixed it somewhat with Steel Titans with the realism physics factor, but not enough. Oh, Steel Titans is way better. I kind of liked with Steel Titans 1 more the fact that the trucks were a lot easier to switch between while you were still on the map. I've not played Bigfoot Collision Course. I think I have it, but I've not played it before. Actually, in the meantime, I think I am gonna update my favorite songs playlist because it is dated. Why is the same song is in this playlist 4 different times? Here you go. You guys can go check that out. That is all the best songs on there. So there's some stuff I still have to update on that. And I'm actually going to do that in the meantime while I'm letting questions roll in. What's it feel like time buried alive? This is now your life. Time buried alive. Is this already in the playlist? It is already in the playlist. How silly am I? Alright, now I can add these. Shepherd of Fire, that's going in the playlist. I don't know why that's not there yet. Boop. Doing Time, that's going in the playlist. This Means War, that's going in the playlist. I have this whole album out of the playlist. This whole album needs to be in the playlist, if anything. Heretic, that's already in the playlist. Thank God. Coming Home, that's in the playlist. Great. Oops, not watch later. No. I just saved it to 2 of the wrong playlists in a row. Yeah, I'm thinking Toddler Duke is actually pretty likely to be in the international tour. As much as I love to see him in the US, and it's the same thing, it's actually exactly the same thing I have thinking about Mark List. Oh, this song is good, but I completely ruined it because I set it as my alarm. You guys don't even know what song I'm talking about, but I just put it in the in my favorite songs playlist. After we add that one. Yes, this song is such a banger. Victim goes in. Where's oh, there's Save Me. I don't really like Save Me, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in a Marvel track. Alright, so I just gotta add a bunch of songs to this playlist. Alright, let's see here. What we got? What we got? Popular. Bad Country, you gotta get in the playlist. East on the Harley is an easy pick into the playlist. Almost easy, you betcha. None of these songs are in the playlist. Jeez. I really screwed this up. Ah, there's another one. Boom. There's one. Boom. We got... Alright. Well, I updated the playlist quite a bit. There are some other things I still need to add. Man, this stream's going up on 2 hours already. And I have stuff to get to. That's a bit of an issue, I suppose. Gotta get Prison Song in this playlist. About some toxicity. Is this in the playlist yet? Can't tell me it's not. Toxicity, please. Thank God it's already in the playlist. Alright. Aerials is, I already know that. Okay, I upgraded, I updated the playlist, Yeah, we still don't know any of the... You know what I just realized? Well, it's not that I just realized it. It's that I'm just now thinking about it. Do you guys remember YouTube sometime back used to have a discussion page on the channel? But then they just merged it with community and got rid of it. We Shevardnadze? What? What? I'm so confused. You said what now? Oh, never mind, I see. Yeah. Like 3 years ago, YouTube had a discussion page at the top of the thing, but they merged it with the community page, and I'm kind of upset about that now. What? Only 56 million? I thought the song was way more popular than that. Guess not. Let me say it again. Alright. I'll go until at the latest this stream hits an hour 45 minutes. Yes, Holy Wars. The punishment due. Well, with Monster Jam now being back with Marvel, they might be being back with Disney as well, which could open Star Wars, but I don't see it happening. It's a small possibility. There's no way that they're still touring, is there? There's no way they're still on tour. What? Do you still do shows? These are all in Australia. No wonder I didn't know. So yeah, I'll have the stream go for about 5 more minutes. But otherwise, I'm going to probably be wrapping up since it's been a pretty long stream. And it looks like we are starting to have some people drop out as well. See you, Velocity Raptor 32. Great stream so far. You were great help making this a good episode 10. Yeah, all the tours I can find for them are in Australia. I'm still waiting for Avenged Sevenfold to finally release their new album. Because it was supposed to be released the first half of this year, and then summer of this year, and then this part of the year, and now it's pushed back to next year. And if it's not released by the start of next year, I swear, I will... And I at least want to see their tour too. I think that would be really cool. Not that they tour here, I don't think. I could see with the color scheme it being like a truck from the dark side, but Darth Vader specifically is a bit of a far out concept. I guess the grill on the front kind of gave Darth Vader vibes, but realistically it's just kind of anyone from the dark side. Come on. How can you tell me that you're still not anywhere on the new album yet? Yeah, it's already been 6 years, and now it's looking like it's going to be 7 years until they make a new album. What the heck? Alright, we're running down to the last 3 minutes before I'm going to have to end this stream to get my other priorities straight. I don't really like any other songs because of the vocals. There's just no vocals. Alright, looks like we're about 1.5 minutes away before I end up ending this stream, so if there are any final thoughts we'll want to get out, it's about now the time. Otherwise, we could probably move over to a community tab or something and do the same stuff, but at the moment I'm just trying to get some other stuff done. No, I don't really know any other songs dropped. I don't know any other songs really. Probably heard one. I think I've heard 1 or 2, but I didn't particularly like them either. They were good. They weren't like amazing. Alright, only about 50 seconds remain until we'll be ending this stream. So kind of is going to be the last chance to get some more thoughts in there. Otherwise, it's going to be put on hold until next week when we get to more Monster Jam podcasts. Okay, I'll be able to search. I'll be sure to search that up later. We have 10 seconds, so we'll get this countdown, and I'll say bye to you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys for coming out to the podcast episode 10. It's been a great episode. It's been a great series. It's crazy to think that this is already our 11th week since we've created it, because last week got a little bit messed up. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, 11 weeks and it still feels like it's been 2. It's been a great time doing the series. And I'll see you guys in episode 11 next week. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.